mother announced that my deceased father wasn't my real dad and that the man she'd been having an affair with was. Then she expected him to walk me down the aisle. So I banned her from my wedding and cut her off completely. My dad, Henrik, died when I was 26. Pancreatic cancer. 11 months between diagnosis and the funeral. I was the one in the chair next to his hospital bed. My mother was the one who took bereavement leave and immediately booked a cruise. I never said anything about it. He was gone, and she was the only parent I had left. I got engaged a year later to a man named Brennan. The wedding was set for the August I turned 28. A small ceremony at a vineyard my dad had taken me to when I was 8. Brennan understood what that vineyard meant. So did my mother, supposedly. 3 months before the wedding, I drove to her house to talk through the ceremony order. We sat at her dining table with a binder. She poured wine. She told me there was something I needed to know. I assumed it was about money. She said no. She said it was about my father. She said Henrik was not my biological father. She said a man named Royce, who I had met exactly twice as a child at her old workplace, was. She said she had been involved with Royce since before I was born, and that the relationship had never stopped. She said Royce was going to walk me down the aisle. She said it the way someone announces a change to a seating chart. I did not speak for a minute. I asked her if my father had known. She said of course he had known. He had agreed to raise me because he could not have children of his own. I asked her if she had a single piece of evidence for any of it. She slid a printed DNA result across the table. The result was a 23andMe sibling match showing 49.7% shared DNA between me and Royce's adult daughter from his marriage. The test had been taken without my knowledge, using a sample from a hair tie I had left at her house 3 years ago. I sat there holding that paper. I asked her why she had done a covert paternity test. She said because Royce had finally asked her to marry him, now that his wife had died, and the family wanted me to be acknowledged. I asked her what she meant by the family. She said Royce's family, the family I had not known I had. I drove home. I did not cry until I got into the garage. I called Brennan, who came home from work an hour early. We sat on the floor of our living room and I told him everything. He asked me one question. He asked me what my dad's voice would say if I could play a recording right now. I started laughing because that was such a Brennan question. The next morning, I drove to my dad's storage unit. I had been paying for it for 2 years and had not yet opened it. There were 8 cardboard boxes and a filing cabinet. The filing cabinet had a manila folder labeled with my name. Inside the folder was a letter dated 4 months before my dad died. A notarized declaration of paternity from when I was 6 months old that named him as my father, and an envelope marked to be opened only if she ever asks. I opened that one. The letter said this: he had known. He had known the whole time. He had asked for the paternity declaration because he had wanted there to be no question in any court anywhere. He had stayed because he had wanted me. He had not told me because he had not wanted me to spend my life choosing. He said in the last paragraph that if my mother ever tried to use this against me, I should know 2 things. He said 1, the DNA does not make a father. The years do. He said 2, the deed on the vineyard had a clause he had added 6 months before he died that gave me ownership of the south parcel, including the oak tree he and I had eaten lunch under when I was 8. And the deed had been recorded the same week. I drove back home. I called my mother. I told her she was not welcome at the wedding. I told her Royce was not welcome at the wedding. I told her if either of them showed up, the venue security would remove them. She told me I was being dramatic. I told her she had 30 years to be a mother and that she had used those years for something else. I hung up. I sent the storage unit letter to my dad's two surviving siblings, my Uncle Vern and my Aunt Posy. My mother showed up at the gate. She did not get past it. Royce did not show up at all. I have not spoken to either of them in 11 months. The south parcel of the vineyard is mine now. I plan to plant a row of trees next spring under my father's.